Some people are very famous. Some people are kind of famous. But most of us, we're not famous at all. But we all have something in common. Everybody's got a great story, and usually more than one. This is Mike Cotton, and I'm your host once again on Their Stories. And once again, we've got some great, interesting guests. We've got some great topics we're going to talk about. So hang with us. One of our guests, he's traveled all over the world working with the big oil companies. At the same time, he had a suitcase full of harmonicas, and he's played all over Europe. Israel, one of the big places that he went to, the heavy blues scene there. He's now grew up in Milton, Florida, but now been residing in Mobile, Alabama for quite a while. And I met him at a recent gig where he was opening up for the great Kenny Neal. And we're working on a project as we speak, and you're going to hear more and more about this over the next few weeks. Please welcome Randy Harp Howell. Shake hands. Yeah. Next to Randy, I've been knowing this guy a long time, and he's a fellow. Are we Georgians? Is that what we are?
No, always.
But we know who Louis Gazard is, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you don't know, you need to check Louis Gazard out.
Stories about him, too.
He was like George's Mark Twain. Mm-hmm. This guy, he's been around music a long time, but he started a lot of his music career later in life, so it's never too late. And he's lived all over Louisiana, spent a lot of time in New Orleans. He's performed and recorded with some of the big people in the business. And then eventually, our gain in Pensacola was he moved here, and he kind of does a lot of stuff I used to do in South Florida, trying to just make stuff happen with blues and roots music, with blues jams and getting new clubs to open up to the music. And, he's out there for the cause all the time. And I don't think he knows that how many of us really appreciate what he's doing day to day, because some of it just doesn't pay, but it's a passion and you got to love it. Yes. So please welcome, and I don't know that he's got a nickname. We're just going to go with Rocky Denny. Hey, Rocky. Randy, kind of fill in the blanks for a few minutes about, when you were born, where you're from, and kind of how you got into that music.
Well, from the beginning, I'm going to start at the beginning. Well, the earth was void, and then God said, "Let there be." Bring it up a little bit further. No, I'm the only
comedian here, so please.
No, I was raised in Milton, Florida, the late '60s, early '70s, and left there and got into the oil field business. I was always playing a harmonica. Started at age 12. And to keep getting whipped by the old man, most of the times I'd have to go out in the woods and play by harmonica.
Sounds like the blues.
Yeah, playing the blues, man. And Daddy whooped me again, and all that. So, and then I moved on from there. I got in the oil business, and it, when the Lord's blessings, it helped me travel all over the world and meet some very interesting musicians. I played virtually everywhere I went, but I had the best of both worlds. I could, have a steady job and still play, and so that was good. But you want to touch on Israel, man. Israel was absolutely fantastic when I went there. It was I was representing the country of Israel, and we were the underwriters. I was a project manager, and I had a lot of free time, and so I was staying at the Sheraton. I went down to the concierge. He was dressed in a nice suit. He's got a Glock on his side because it's Israel. I said, y'all got any good music around here? He said, what kind of music you like, sir? I said, blues. Oh, the blues. I said, yeah, the blues. And so he called me a taxi, and I went down to this place called Mike's Place.
Had to be a great place.
Oh, yeah, the name of Mike's. And I couldn't believe it. It was just like a mind freak, because you're thinking Middle Eastern, Ravi Shankar, kind of sitar stuff. But it was just a killer blues coming out of there. Couldn't believe it. And I still keep in touch with this guy. Great harp player, good singer. He goes to Chicago, plays some of the greats. His name is Dov Hammer. And it was so great, Mike. I mean, it was, when you go in there, it was, even a harp, yeah, come on up. It was like it was artists sharing their art with each other. There was no competition or who was better than. There's always going to be somebody better than you. That's just in anything.
It's like the great surfer Duke Kahanamoku,
the
father
Duke
of modern day surfing. They asked him when he came to the States, who's the best surfer out there, and he goes, the one having the most fun.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Now, I met Randy pretty recently, actually. I'd heard about him, and he was in Mobile, and I heard this guy was playing around there, and everybody said, oh, you're going to like his tone. And it was a Kenny Neal show, Kenny Neal out of Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
And you were in the band that was opening up for them. And it was a great meeting, because after that, we got together and said, hey, I want to do a project with you. And I says, hey, I'm flattered. I want to do a project with you. What are we going to do? And we're gonna talk about that in detail here shortly. And it's a really, really neat project. And Rocky's obviously very involved in this too. Mm-hmm. So let's, Rocky, Georgia, home of Blind Willie McTell and my old buddy Piano Red.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Blind Willie McTell wrote Statesboro Blues. Mm-hmm. So you don't hear a lot about Georgia blues, but there's Georgia, and there's even Piedmont blues when you go up into the Carolinas.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's a lot of finger picking type stuff. But I was listening to Blind Willie McTell's version the other day, and if you don't know, the Allman Brothers went on to have a big hit with it. And they didn't write it. Okay, they borrowed it.
Yeah, they didn't write a lot of them.
So, but tell us about. So you're originally from Georgia, but you've ended up all over the Deep South. What's your story, Rocky?
Grew up boxing coach's son. That's where I got the name Rocky.
There you go.
Rocky Marciano.
Cool.
Got to meet Muhammad Ali when I was 12.
Oh, man.
Joe Frazier. Oh, yeah.
Cool.
And left Atlanta 22 years old in 81. Went in sales, lived in Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Lived there for 2 years. And
well, you know what they say about Atlanta, Georgia? There's the 285,
right.
And then there's Georgia.
Right. That's true. Right.
I'm from Atlanta, and I just
everything.
I don't know my way around when I go there. Oh, yeah. Don't know it at all.
But I didn't play an instrument at all.
Really?
Just sang. Yeah. I just started playing harmonica when I was 40 years old. 40 years old before I started picking one up.
Never too late to start.
So you had 28 years old, man.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm still learning like most, But like I said, that first radio.
Did you move to New Orleans right away? Or
no, Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay.
Yeah, but before I left, we had a band. We had a song on radio at 19 years old at AM station in Austell, Georgia. 19 years old. Drummer was 15. So the main songwriter moved to Iowa. So that's, like the song said, the band split up. And then I took 20 years off of doing any music at all. So in 2001 in New Orleans, I started playing again, going to blues jams and Chris Alexander's clubs where
he was in, Chris was here, the Chris and Chris show. His wife, Christine, one of my favorite drummers. Boy, she's like right on the money.
Oh, yeah, metronome.
In the pocket. And and I don't think she started playing until she was...
Well, I used to go to Baton Rouge, and Kenny Neal was there, and Little Ray Neal would show up, and Chris would make some gumbo or some red beans and rice on Sunday evening.
Yeah, Little Ray cooked some really good gumbo.
Right. And I didn't play harmonica at all. I started picking it up, but I could always sing, and I write music, been writing since I was 18. So, but moved from transferred to
New Orleans.
In fact,
his to be future hit song, we're going to tell you about that. Hooked on Facebook.
Yeah, that's good.
About an older guy hooked on Facebook. And his old lady don't like it one bit.
That's a good one, yeah.
Right. That's a different girlfriend.
Yeah. Well, how did you, going through that, it seems like I came up from South Florida, early 90s. Obviously, there's a girl involved, always is. Obviously, never works out, always does. Not. Too, and, so that's kind of how I got here. And I kind of fell into that scene. There was the beginnings of what would become the Blues Society.
Oh, yeah,
and
sure.
all. And, and stayed here. And the only thing I didn't like about it, up until 2 years ago, I was a pretty avid surfer. And it gets cold here, and the water gets cold. And I don't like wetsuits. But... eventually got to meet everybody in the surf world and in the music scene. Particularly, we say blues. I like to call it American roots music, which is the base of that is blues.
Oh, yeah, sure.
From that, we get jazz and we get R&B and we get soul and we get gospel. And when I was on radio, I did a 3-hour show, and that 1 week, I got tired of people asking me, "Well, I don't like the blues," or "I don't like jazz." I go, and then I would go, "Well, what type?" They go, "Well, there's only one type." So I did research all week, and I came up with all these records and songs, and it was 27 Shades of the Blue. Oh, yeah. And my band was called Shades of Blue. And the whole idea behind that was to expose, black folks to white artists and white artists to black folks to older, and it was, it was wild because we had this all ages audience and all colors,
Sure.
So it really was... it was mind expanding for a lot of us, a lot of ways. But I had been around that scene in my dad's nightclub. When I was old as I can remember, maybe 5 years old, realized my dad had a big famous nightclub on Peachtree Street in Baker, downtown Atlanta. You know right where that is. And met all the, back then it was really more of the big bands, but my favorite was Piano Red of all of them. And I met Tommy Jimmy Dorsey.
I used to see him in downtown, Underground Atlanta all the time.
Duke Ellington. Well, and then of course years later, and I'll tell you this one Piano Red story you'd appreciate about Underground Atlanta. So we moved to Miami in '58 and kind of grew up there, but I kept going back to Atlanta every summer. So my brother showed up and we were looking for something to do. So I was probably 18, 19 years old, somewhere there, and he was probably in his early 20s. We said, well, let's go down to Underground. And I think it was the second version of Underground, maybe. But we heard Piano Red was playing it. Is it Mulligan's, I think was the name of the bar. Irish pub. And so we got down there, and there he was. He was in the showcase window.
Yeah, I remember that.
Instead of clothing and mannequins, here's Piano Red with that barrel house piano upright, just jamming. And we went up behind him, and you can't tell me some of this stuff isn't cosmic. And now we're older. Our voices had changed. And he didn't see us. And we walked up. He was going to break. We walked up. We each put a hand on each shoulder and together we went, hey, Red, how you doing? I swear to God, this guy did not turn around. And he goes, Mr. Joe's boys, how y'all doing? I miss you so much. We're like, I'm telling you, he didn't even see it was us. So unless he was looking in the mirrors. But this was 5-8 years later. So obviously we weren't like little kids running around the club, but I have lots of stories I can tell you about him. But they're all fun. They're all funny. And in fact, Brandon Giles is doing one of the songs my dad wrote for Piano Red, Big Rock Joe from Kokomo. And hopefully that'll be on his next album that he does. That'd be cool. So anyway, you get to Pensacola and you ain't done yet. So you're like an overachiever. And
moved here 40 years ago first.
Is that right?
85, yeah.
Okay.
Left in 98, went back to Georgia, came back here. Back to New Orleans, came back here 11 years ago. So
talk about just touch on some of the stuff. I mean, I know you had a club. You do the jams. You have the bands. And by the way, Charlie's band and his band are really two different bands, but they are his backup band sometimes.
Yeah, the Hammerhead. We're the Brotherhood. Well, these would be in the Hammerheads. We're their brotherhood.
Yeah, that's it.
The Brotherhood. That's right.
That's God, I found you.
Hell, even let's get on stage a couple times.
Yeah, I found you. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I had my restaurant and barbecue place, and Wednesday night, my band played for free for a year. Didn't get started. They played for food, literally.
Yeah, that's yeah. You wouldn't let take a sign. We'll play for food. That's actually true. Yeah,
I did. Yeah, they ain't no ticket to death to do that.
Yeah, it was good food. I miss it.
That's good friends. Play for free.
Yeah.
But and in fact, Scouter Softly became in this area because he answered the Craigslist to come to my jam.
Right.
Nobody knew him before that.
Huh.
Yeah, in this area.
Charlie did. Yeah, wow, that's cool. That's it's by word. Yeah, it's word of mouth, and stuff you hear.
So when I closed, I was only open for a year, but I continued to do jams. I've been doing about 9 years now, so I've had a teenage.
I know you were at Calvert's.
I was at Rodeo Rock, Calvert's, Chicago Bar, remember that place, and then Calvert's.
Yeah, that's been about 10 different things since then.
And then Goat Lips for the last 2 or 3 years. Yeah.
So, you're trying to find a musician.
So Goat Lips. Is in our industrial park here, and people want me to describe. It's kind of like when I used to describe the old Floribama, and my buddies be coming up from South Florida, whatever. Of course, everybody wants to go to Floribama. And what's that place like? I says it's like Pee Wee Herman and Fred Sanford didn't pull a building permit, and they scored a bunch of old wood, and they built a club on the beach. That's what
it's eclectic.
Yeah, it's eclectic, and it still looks that way. But actually, the McGinnis family that owns it now. I mean, they're contractors. That is all. I've been through it with them. They showed me how that place is built now. It's Dade County code, so it can blow all the furniture out, but they just sweep it out and start again. So
exactly. Right.
Well, that's good. Well, let me. Anything else you wanted to say about some of the stuff you've done?
No, I just continued to write and do most of my recording in Nashville. So I've had about 6 songs on radio here.
Who's that sax player? Vance?
Vance Kelly, yeah.
Yeah, that guy's great, too.
Well, I took my New Orleans band to Sun Studio 13 years ago, wrote, and just as a, just a thing to do, and I wrote a song for Sam Phillips, who, if not for him, we wouldn't be sitting here.
Sam Phillips. Yeah.
First rock and roll song I ever recorded was Rockin' '88 with Ike Turner on the
Ike
keys.
Turner, yeah, they said that was the first rock and roll song.
So I wanted to record there, so I wrote a song called "Thank You, Sam," which I don't think you've heard. It
Yeah,
should be on Sun.
Cool.
It should be Sun Studios theme song.
Good
Yeah.
kudos to him.
So I met Vance Kelly the 2 days before through an audio engineer friend of mine, my original bass player.
Right.
He said, yeah, he loved Elvis like I did. He said, let's go meet me in Memphis. He said, I got a guy who plays sax. I said, is he good? I said, I think he's pretty good. So
Yeah.
we went to the hotel and he pulls it out. I said, yeah, that'll work. So then we get to the studio. He said, oh, by the way, I play keys too. So
Oh, wow.
he was a touring musician with Jackal for years.
Really?
He played, he opened for.
But he can honk. I like
Wow.
that.
He opened for Coco Taylor.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Oh, yeah.
Coco's, man.
He played the
Legend.
Chitlin circuit for a while. But so anyway, we did that, and I've had about 6 songs on local radio, New Orleans radio, and Atlanta radio. So,
Cool, man.
so that's pretty cool.
Well, let me kind of go into why we're here today. One of the main reasons. So Randy and I said, well, let's have a meeting. And Randy just, he's pretty much solo. He goes around, sits in, plays a lot of different people, travels. And he's kind of indicated, which a lot of people do, that he's played with all these people. He's played on stuff, but he had never really put out his thing. And I says, well, that means we got to go find musicians. I got to hire a band. I said, I got an idea I've been thinking about, and you would be perfect for this. And he said, what is that? I said, I've traveled a lot. I've done a lot of television and corporate films and stuff like that. Travel all over the hemisphere doing that and surfing. But a lot of people now they always ask about the Floribama, okay? And that is world famous. I mean, I tell you a story sometime about a friend of mine being in France. He had a Floribama hat on, and the Japanese contingency from Microsoft was having a world convention there. And the Japanese guys charged. I don't know if you remember Blitz Poston. I love his name, Blitz. And then he retired and then started taking couples to Europe. Like he'd take 3 couples a month. And they're having lunch at this pub, which I guess they all serve food too. And these Japanese guys came running out, Floribama. And there was the interpreter. He said, "What's going on? Are they mad?" Because they said, "No, they're trying to tell you they rent a room at the condo next door to the Floribama every year." And their wives go on another vacation with the kids, and they go there for a week because they can crawl back to their room when they're done.
Exactly.
But I mean,
too much
Japanese
talking,
guys in Paris talking about the Floribama. I mean, it's like,
yeah, it is pretty famous.
But I'm starting to get, and I'm online with a lot of people. They're going, and a lot of musicians. They're Chicago or Memphis or New Orleans or Miami. Where they're going, man, we're hearing about all these different clubs up there now that are booking music, and they're booking a lot of blues and American roots music. Is this for real? I says, I've been telling people that the Floribama has been the nucleus to create a destination for songwriters and musicians. The Floribama, though, even though it's changed somewhat today with new ownership and all, is still connected at the hip to Nashville and to country music. I mean, you'll see people like Dean Dillon that wrote Tennessee Whiskey, and I've done several films with him. In fact, if you go on my YouTube channel, we just surpassed on a concert Dave and I did there, just him and his guitar and stories, and we just passed 525,000 views on that. I wish YouTube paid a little more royalties, but it gets us other gigs. But so it's not that they don't have other people, and they do one of the biggest songwriters festivals in the world, which will be next month. But on the periphery, in Mobile, here over to Destin, more and more of these clubs are opening. Ones that have been here, and they're booking the blues bands, they're booking R&B, they're booking soul. They're not just the kid music, which is, to me, it's all rap or whatever, but hip hop. I mean, I guess that's fine.
It all stems from blues.
All I know is my parents said. My mom heard, and both my parents were musicians somewhat and trained in new music. My mom gave me, at 59, gave me Bob Dylan's first album. Said, here, you need to listen to this.
Yeah, I was born.
My mom, I'm like, what?
Actually, country's blues.
Yeah.
You think about it.
Yeah. Well, my dad called it the white man's blues. And he never called country music, he called it hillbilly music.
Wow.
Because our club was a hillbilly joint in the beginning. But got a little out of control with some of those coal miners and all coming down Friday night. And back then, Fulton County was dry, so it's $1 to swing the door, and it was $1 to get your Dixie cup with ice. And you could take a Pepsi or what. They're all drinking moonshine.
Wow, that's funny.
But that's a whole other story about that club. But anyway, so the scene, for instance, with the help of the Blues Society, which I helped get that started back in the 90s, and today it's one of the best blues societies in the country. I think the way it's run and all is terrific. I decided I'm going to do a miniature version of the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Fest, 99 and 2000. And we, instead of drawing hundreds, our thousands, we drew hundreds. There were great shows. We had some bad weather too, but
I was there.
You could tell from the advanced ticket sales, most of them were coming from Mobile, Baton Rouge, New Orleans. I advertised in, what's the magazine? Not Downbeat, Offbeat. That cool magazine. So they all knew about it, and they're all coming like, we're the people. And I said, I guess these agents around the country were right, and they said I should have had a country western concert. I said, but you know what? I mean, we had Bobby Rush with a 10-piece band.
I was there in the tent.
And not 2 booty girls, 3 booty girls.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was off the chart. And people are still talking about it to this day. It was ahead of its time. Today, it would work. And we turned a lot of people onto a lot of music they really weren't, familiar with. And again, we had all ages, all colors. And, a black woman walk with me and go, that guy plays guitar. I've heard of this other guy, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Is he white or is he black? I go, he's white, but one of his best friends was Albert King.
Black man, white man's buddy.
They hung around with the right guys. So anyway, Randy and I just started brainstorming, and I said, "What do you think about this? This could serve several purposes. We need to give the scene here. Not that I don't like I love the floor band. I just talked to the owner. We're supposed to do something with one of my documentaries where we're going to do a little video of me and him talking about the history and Joe Gilchrist, how this movie came about, how difficult it was. Trying to do anything with Joe is a challenge always. But I said we need to sound the alarm. We need to get a word out that there's this whole other scene that is like an Austin scene or a Memphis scene or Athens, Georgia.
Yeah, there is.
It's gelling now because every week. See their season here. To my friends in South Florida, it's kind of the opposite. I mean, you guys are busy all the time, I guess now. But up here, once you get past when you get to Thanksgiving and all, places that might book a band might be booking singles and duos for a few months because it's a colder climate, but it's growing. I mean, you have year-round audiences now. So I said, why don't we do this? And Randy wanted to play. And I said, man, I don't have it in me right now. I led bands for 30 or 40 years. And, that's where it's amazing no one got killed, but it came close.
The thing for me was, because I have to go out to these different places, and there was some really good talent around there. I was like, my goodness, there's so much good talent. And so that's what me and Mike was getting to. I had to bring it all together and expose it to a wider audience.
So that's what we're doing now. We're meeting with different groups, singles, duos, right up to full bands. And I said we have a special guest, and he's the force behind it. And we want Randy to be on these albums if it's only hitting horn lines. And this guy hits horn lines. And you guys are like on a harmonica. They want to doodle. It's like guitar players that want to play leads over your singing or whatever, drive you out of your mind. That usually comes with growing older.
Experience.
Yeah. But so we've had a great reception, and we've already lined up groups. I mean, one is Michael McCartney, and I'm playing the 3-string cigar box guitar. This guy's like a walking museum. And right up to with your song, Rocky, Hooked on Facebook. So he's been gracious enough to pull his harmonica part out, and Randy will play all of it or part of it, or he'll put his thing in there, and Rocky sings it.
Yeah, he's a accomplished harp player.
And it's a real neat video. If you see, we filmed the video, and we know how it is. I get on Facebook and look up at the clock, and it's 3:00 in the morning. I go, what the hell?
But there's several bands, that it's on. It's like Robbie and Rich from Red Moon Travelers. They've submitted a good song.
We have a lot of different
talented people.
They're all roots to me. It's all roots music. And so with Rocky's band, and we have Mike
Charlie and them.
We've got Charlie Stow, who I've got back with well, I think the first gig I played with Charlie, we opened for Bobby Rush at the old Bayfront Auditorium. That was a hoot.
Just good talent.
Yeah,
good talent
good
around
talent.
here.
And it's all, Tony Pasco we're talking to,
Yep.
who's a published jazz musician. He does. He got discovered doing the background music for Duck Dynasty.
Yeah,
Those guys
he
that played
played
with
with
the
somebody,
Duck
Black Sabbath or something.
Yeah,
I can't remember
yeah.
who it was.
But he's gone on to
Rock
he's
Hoople or
done
something.
several of those reality shows, Pitbulls and Prolies or whatever. But he's actually a kind of a. I mean, he's into blues and jazz, but he's got his own thing going. He's got his 11th album's about to come out. So he's working up a song for Randy. He says, I got the makings of it. I'm working on it right now. So this is almost like spaced out jazz and blues. And then he wants me to play bass on it. I said, oh, okay. You don't set the bar very hard. I'm really more of a live musician.
Dye your hair black and give me a little ducktail in the
Yeah,
back.
there you go.
Back to the 50s.
Send me some of Dad's moonshine.
Yeah.
So these are the different groups, and we got some that made a commitment. Now we have to talk to them. We're trying to get John Hart with one of his.
He's good
original.
too. He's real good.
And John is a young guy that I met and a lot of us met at the Paradise of Pensacola Beach, who was flipping hamburgers. And I think the sauce boss, Bill Wharton, was here and called him up.
Oh, yeah.
And I looked at this kid and I went, this kid doesn't listen to Stevie Ray. He's listened to Jimmy Vaughn and Duke Robillard and Ronnie Earl and all those kind of T-Bone Walker kind of guys.
Yeah,
And now he's got kind of his own thing. So I get the honor of sitting in with him a lot. And it's kind of funny because this crowd, a lot of them, they see me out there like, you play the bass and you're like going wild on stage. I said, yeah, I'll probably croak right here on the stage one day. Just have my funeral right there. But so we just signed Blaine Butler, who has a great band, The Blenders, but he's got a solo album he's putting out now.
I didn't know that.
And he says, he sent me a song and he said, you think Randy would like, this is for, it's almost like sounds kind of like a minor key out there, but it's
it does. I think it's a
soulful.
minor or sharp or something. I play by ear, so I have to try to pick it out and then have to go through it a couple of times and then try to figure out where you don't want to overplay, you don't want to underplay, you want to put them in the right spot, in the right timing and things. But to me, with these like the people like Rocky and Robbie and them and Charlie, it's not, people don't seem to understand. It's not something they do. It's who they are.
Yeah.
And you just have to live with who you are.
Yeah, I think we've all worked with younger people that come out of rock and roll or hard rock, and they think that blues is it's easy. Yeah, it's 3 chords. Well, I know some blues songs that got 18 chords. So I mean, it just depends. But I said doesn't really have anything to do with that. I says if you don't feel it,
you got to
in your soul.
That's it.
You're not going to ever be able to play.
If you don't feel it, sit
it's
back down.
It's going to come out as a rock guy trying to play blues.
That's it.
I said, what's the saying? It's the easiest to learn, but the hardest to play.
Yeah, I think Clapton said that, he said a lot of people like to try it from their head. You can't play it from your head.
My brother's a jazz musician.
You got to play it from your soul.
I've heard it.
Exactly.
So I picked up my first instrument. I'll be 77 in a couple of weeks, but I think I was about 6 or 7 when we moved to Miami.
77, you don't look 77. I was going to say something like 97. I was thinking.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like 107.
You look good back.
All these lines have stories behind them. Well, this project, the buzz is out. I bet I've got voicemails on my phone and texts right now. People are hearing about it. It kind of reminds me of when I did my first, Dave Barnes and I did our first film that we owned the whole thing. And I convinced him to do this thing called Florida Surfing History, the Panhandle. And people were like, there's waves in the Panhandle. I go, there's waves. You just got to be ready to go when you go. You may lose your job. You may get divorced, And so what I did, the history here goes back to the 40s with guys coming to NAS, Pensacola, the base from California and Hawaii. And they would come across the pass to what they call the point before Hurricane Frederick, I think in 79 or whatever, but changed all that. But it was a hoot, the whole movie. For 2 months, we went up and down the coast from Panama City back to Dauphin Island, finding like the oldest people we could find that had stories. We got one guy, I can't think of his name right now, but his family they used to do all the high school photographs for the yearbook and all that stuff. And he got hired as a lifeguard in 57 or 58. He was out there by himself, and there was a guy from California, had a Hobie surfboard, and he was wondering what he was doing. But it was, these kind of projects are cool because, I kind of fancy myself, Dave and I, we're real journalists. So if you see something on the national news and we filmed it, we didn't edit it. I just want to let you know, disclaimer, we didn't edit it. Somebody else changed it. But so we enjoy doing, all. And if you haven't seen Back to China Beach, after 5 years, that film just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So anyway, I don't know how this came about, and I'd been talking to Randy. I says, Randy, I've done I mean, one of the Jim Richmond, Vice President of the Blues Society, came to my house when I put this one-day festival together recently, and he says, well, do you have any boxes? I go, have I got boxes of stuff? And I started pulling stuff out, and I didn't, not even my whole life, but I forgot half of the stuff I'd brought in, like Rosie Ledette brought her, the Queen of Zydeco, and all these different people I was bringing, Guitar Slim's son, it just went on and on and on. And I mean, it was just like, but all of those, I find, I've done a lot of motorcycle rallies too, that it doesn't hurt to have a good nonprofit or charity involved.
No, that's always good.
Yeah, and if children are involved, I mean, I did one with, I'm not going to mention the motorcycle club because you're going to think I'm nuts. But anyway, they're all good guys, really. It's way overrated by Hollywood. We raised, I think, $28,000 for Make-A-Wish in one day. Nice. Kids, I used to sit on the Make-A-Wish board.
What are we going to call this CD, this album?
Well, the album, when we kicked other names around, but we settled on Gulf Coast All-Stars. The Gulf Coast All-Stars.
There you go.
And this may be volume 1 of other volumes, because I know what's going to happen now. By the time we get everything put together, then people are going to be coming out of the bushes going, I want to be on, I want to be on. So maybe we do, but this will be the 2025 tour. So we're talking about if we do T-shirts on the back, we won't have the tour dates. We'll just have the names of all the different bands and musicians. But Rocky, so we didn't have to look far, okay? So Rocky has been putting a nonprofit together.
Yeah.
And it couldn't be more perfect for what we're going to do. So Rocky, tell us the name of this, what this is, how can we help, what are we going to do?
It's keeping the music alive. I've always prided myself in helping people.
Yes.
In fact, I went to a football banquet my senior year. The coach said, we're giving a sportsmanship to Rocky because he's got a guy knock you on the ass and help you up. Which is true.
Yeah. That's good. I'm going to steal that one.
And I mean, it just even school, little 9 freshman kids would follow me because I'd keep them from bullies bugging me. So I've always been that way. I was raised that way. But and so when I started doing my restaurant and blues club and people like Skylar Softly and these young kids come up that had never been on stage. I mean, I recently had the Wooden brothers, Caleb and Connor, from Gulf Breeze, and their dad on stage with them for the first time. I mean, that's
isn't that good? And that's just a joy to see something like that.
We've got an 18-year-old Max. Have you seen him?
This kid's phenomenal.
He's phenomenal.
He's an old soul, though.
Yeah, he is an old soul. I mean, he's that little Elton John, but he does Billy Joel. He's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, Ronnie Taylor was busy at another gig, so I asked Max, well, come, bring your keys and sit in with us and go this on Saturday night,
Right.
And he stayed up all night, and his parents came, and the first time he had a gig.
Yeah.
So just giving those experience, I want to just
heaven, man.
make it bigger and bigger. But and I gave him some money. Said, I'm getting paid. I said, yeah. Wow.
Money.
It does.
That was the hook. Yeah.
Give me his name again.
Max.
Okay. The last time I was up there, he had a hat on and sunglasses. And
he's incredible, man.
I was on stage when the jam part one night. He's trying to explain the song. Everybody go.
But I've had 6-year-olds.
Just tell them it's helped me. And G, they'll know what to
That's
play.
it, right. I've had kids, 6-year-olds to 85-year-olds. I'm just, and the beauty part about the music community, as I said the other day at Red Dog's memorial, if musicians...
And if any of you remember Red Dog from Atlanta originally, I mean, I used to play his records in South Florida, never met him. Turns out we both moved to Pensacola and kind of became good friends over the years, and he was a pretty reclusive guy too.
I would never meet Red
Dog. But we
him.
lost him. It was really one of those ones where it was kind of a shock because nobody knew he was sick or anything.
Yeah, he didn't know either.
He didn't know either. But even if he knew, I don't know that he's the kind of guy that goes around advertising.
He would not. Yeah. So anyway, I've just created that experience, and I'm an Uber driver too, and I always see. I was actually thinking about doing a nonprofit because I see people all day. They're struggling. I see, if I could just help these people out, it'd be I can afford to do that, right? So, And with the music part of it, I mean, I had somebody approach me at Tuesday night bands on the beach, man. I had bought a violin for my son, and I've already got a place for that violin for a girl.
Yeah, somebody told me, said I got the name written down since I got inherited like two horns.
Their whole life,
like a trumpet and a sax or whatever. I said, well, you can take anything, you know. And
So
if they're
anyway,
not in good shape, we got some of these guys can fix them up, clean them
yeah.
up, and make them work.
So,
you know,
so my goal is do it here and then have chapters in other cities. You know. New
So,
Orleans,
so I know you sent me the mission. You just wrote what's the mission statement for the group?
mission statement is offer opportunities for inspiring musicians that just need a helping hand, and one of our goals is to get them to where they can do live performance with seasoned musicians.
Yeah,
That's a nice way. That's a nice way of saying old. You know.
Yeah, seasoned. Yeah, that's seasoned.
But
Yeah.
I've seen hundreds of experiences, and we film most of them. So I mean, and the reason I do it first time I got a blues jam was in Hammond, Louisiana. So I know what it's like to be mentored by other musicians and people with patience, and not everybody has patience, but most of them do, you know.
Yeah.
That's great, man. I think music is universal, man. You know, it's something the good Lord put in the humans since the beginning of mankind, you know, and it's...
And doing Uber, I've done 20,000 trips, or about 60,000 people.
You just posted something about some drummer that you met
This morning.
this morning.
Oh, wow.
They did a gig with, so it's a small world. And I met
a
producer from Nashville who's good friends with the guy I was in the studio with in Baton Rouge. So I'm going to write a book about that, by the way. But so just being able to do that and get it going here. And then I see a bigger picture is doing it in New Orleans, Atlanta, you know, just different chapters, you know.
Okay, Mark, Mr. Producer, I want to pay some bills right now. We do have a sponsor of the show, and that is Mike Cotton Productions. Imagine that.
I've heard of him.
Okay. Over 55 years in the video, or actually going back to the film production business, and pretty much done everything in that business, and no job's too small or too big. And I work with award-winning producer and director Dave Barnes. The other thing I started doing about 30 years ago, as we were coming out of converting movie film into videotape, is we started to digitize in the 90s. And today it's all about digitizing any of that old media you have, where there's videotapes,
Did a good job for me.
photographs.
Me too.
Yeah, we have some satisfied. Yeah, I'll tell you about Rocky's job in a minute. It was pretty wild. But if it can't be done, pretty much nobody in the country can do it. If it can't be fixed, but we are not like these big, gigantic companies that spend millions on advertising and are very limited. They get all your money up front. Many, many times we've had people come to us and say they sent this back. They said they couldn't fix it. Can you fix it? Yes, we can fix it. So we see a lot of that. We even have a loaner program now. People say, well, I haven't looked at these films or this video in 30 years and I don't have a way to play it. Well, we have a room at the studio, one of the studios, where you can come in and watch there, or we can set you up. If you're in South Alabama or Northwest Florida, we can actually let you take the stuff home and hook it to your TV, or we can give you a monitor that you can plug that into. So we're open all the time. You can call 850-384-1484.
That number again is 850.
Well, wait a minute. You got to finish the...
I don't remember the 555.
384
5555.
1484. Or you can just remember this, MikeCottonProductions.com. That'll take you to our website. You'll see a lot of what we do there. At the bottom of all the pages of the website, there's two buttons. One button will take you to the main Facebook, which is pretty active all the time. And then we have a YouTube channel, which this will be on. And the link will be there. You can share it.
Do a good job.
And we'll do a big announcement on Facebook when this comes out. What do you think, Mark, about 5 days, 8 days to edit it? So, something like that. So, and then this show, we have 3 different categories. We have the famous celebrities, which we've already had a couple on, Dave Bray, USA, Rocky Blyer. Then we have a situation where it's a business. We recently had Fran on that owns Gulf Coast Trade Exchange. So that's a category. But they're all, even though it may be somewhat of a kind of a commercial, they're all entertaining. And they're good for a long time if you're showing this stuff to clients. The other thing is nonprofit. So that's kind of what we're in that category today. We try to give breaks where we can give breaks to get our nonprofits on and give them the exposure like this. So be sure and check us out. If you have any questions, just give a call. And we actually do return our phone calls. But you can also text too as well. It's Mike Cotton Productions, based right here in Pensacola, now in Beulah community, 33 years, and came up out of South Florida, was based down there since, God, I want to say the 70s. So, long time. So, you're dealing with people that are pros and have been in around this business for a long, long time. And collectively, I don't think we have anybody in the organization that isn't an integral part of doing about any type of production there is. I mean, right now we're talking about producing a record. We say a record. I doubt we're going to do vinyl, but we may. But hey, today's client focus is Rocky. Rocky says, I got something for you to digitize. So he brings me an 8-track tape, which looks like it got in the washing machine and bounced around. I mean, this thing was pretty beat to hell. And I went, Rocky, even the good ones. I remember the first tape I put my Learjet 8-track in my VW van. I was impressing this girl. I put the first Jefferson Airplane in there, and it spit all the tape out across the van. He goes, no, it works. I said, okay. So I got it with me and I went to my partner. He says, dust off the 8-track machine. And I think it was like 40 minutes. You couldn't afford to pay us what we should charge.
I'm sure.
We literally had to hold the freaking tape because it kept popping out of the machine onto the floor. But we held and we got it, and it sounded pretty damn good. So, but a lot of this stuff is it's all degrading. Some faster than others. We're seeing videotape. We're really starting to see a lot of degrading there. That's a metal coating that degrades, and people don't know. Around here, stuff rusts if it's metal really quick.
Yep.
Movie film kind of delaminates. Photographs, that kind of stuff, it just fades. It fades out. In some cases, you can bring it back with software, but that's a big challenge. And we also, when it comes to the money, we have PayPal, we have Venmo, we do cash, we do checks. We're also in the trade exchange.
Puka shells.
And if you have puka shells about anything, live chickens, it doesn't matter for our next show. But I was going to say, trade exchange is another way that we can do business, and that we have one right in this area. They're all over the country, but we might be able to work with your trade exchange in other parts of the country. They do cooperate with each other. But anyway, Mark will put the phone number up at the end, and please support us, because that's part of how we keep this show on the air. Yeah. We do project. It's like this record. If we break even, we'll feel it's a success. We might make a few bucks down the road, but it's like Randy says, it's all about we're trying to turn people on to music.
Yes. There's
27 different types of blues, so it's not all the same.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of variety on this record. So,
well, people find out, they can find, the artists that are around here, and instead of looking to see who's what, where, and they'll all be here, and there'll be a sample of it. Yeah. And they say, wow, I really like this, I want to go see Rocky, or I want to go see Charlie, or, In
fact, we're having a meeting today later, if you're a production meeting, we're looking at different platforms to put this on. We'll get to Spotify and all that, but the problem is, you've heard this, the internet kind of killed the record business. Okay. And there's bootlegging on it. But the problem with these I call them cloud companies. They're up there, kind of like YouTube. And if you qualify, you get a royalty. Is your mailbox full of money every quarter, Rocky?
I've checked mine.
Yeah. So we found, and this is the case really today, you see a lot of these older 60s and 70s bands, they're out touring because they're not making any money on the records anymore. They got to work. So what you do is you do your own self-promotion. So with this, we'll have it on a CD. So I don't know that we'll do vinyl. That's a big investment. But we'll definitely have it on, people have CD players, even though the newer cars don't have. By the way, if you have a newer car, you can get a player that should plug into your dash, and you should be able to play CDs in your car.
I've still got a car that has an 8-track, so
okay.
And
my new
old
car,
school.
My new car's a 23. I got a thumb drive you can plug in. And the MP machine. So we're gonna have it on a CD. We're gonna have it in some form on YouTube. My website, I've got a Vimeo platform, so you can go there. You'll be able to listen to it for X, and you can actually be able to buy it. I think for for $10, something like that.
It's going to be nice.
Yeah.
It's going to be a plethora of great talent around here.
So we hope this is the start of a kind of a little cottage industry that, who's on it this year, Mike?
Yeah.
Now,
exactly.
what are we going to do? So there's going to be different platforms. In fact, as of today, I'm going to show you some thumb drives that blow your mind. Some look like credit cards. Some look like cigarette lighters, but they're thumb drives. I mean, it's a company that deals with corporations and logos on them and all kinds of. So we're going to do thumb drives, it looks like, as well. And in fact, I just did a show down in Palm Beach County where the guy that was a Celebration of Life and one of his buddies had his original band up in Philly recorded on thumb drive, and it's got a little label and everything on there too. So you can even relate to the thumb drive.
Easily accessible.
Yeah. So, but we just have people, a lot of older people. They may have a CD player, which a DVD player, it can play CDs usually. But they don't have a computer, or they got a computer and they don't know how to work the computer. So we got to diversify a little bit on the video.
Yeah.
But the big news is, and hopefully I'll have the venue in place here soon. We're going to do a record release party like no other. So we're going to have 10 to 12 acts.
Yep.
On stage. It's going to take 8 to 10 hours to do that. So it'll be like a festival. Everybody can play 3 or 4 of the songs they love, and then the last song they would play in the set would be the song that's on the album. And if we have time, I suspect there'll be some jamming going on maybe at the end of the evening. We've bought a couple of libations and everybody feeling good.
Yeah.
So, but that will be in the Pensacola area. We may even do a second one over towards the Mobile market. So we're looking at that. So best thing is just stay on my Facebook page, the main one, and we'll let you know soon. Yeah. There will be a post later today, even though you're not going to see it.
You'll be glad you did. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a good thing. And I think basically what we're talking about, and I hate to let the cat out of the bag right now, is as Randy and I are willing to give the show and any proceeds from the show to kick off with the charity. So your group can operate the door, the stage. I mean, I can MC if you want me to do that. I've done that a lot of times. Yep. Okay. But it'll be a way people can get involved, right off the bat there.
It could change a kid's life forever,
We'll work out a formula on our sales, that X amount of sales, like, so much from a CD or so much from a thumb drive.
Appreciate it.
And then we'll donate that back. But folks, there's kids out there.
Yes.
And I would tell you, it brings back some memories, not because Dave and I did over 100 stories in the Southeast for all the national news. And don't tell me what you saw on TV with Lester Holt or even Fox or whatever. We didn't edit any of it. We just shot the footage. But the thing is, we'd rather do something that's more real, like this is.
Always.
Because but the blues is nothing but the truth. That's one of your songs.
Yeah.
But we've got a few feel good stories. We got a kid in Mobile that did I mess up the mic on that? That broke his neck in a 4-wheeler accident, and he was on the table at the hospital in Mobile. Actually, he's from Daphne or Fairhope, and his parents were signing the papers to donate his organs, and he woke up and said, "I'm not dead."
Well, we always listen to some.
Now that's not your typical hurricane, fire. What I don't know. We had to spend the day with the kid. We had another one. This one you really like, and you relate to this. So we get a call. They said it was 60 Minutes or 2020 or one of those. So we said, "Well, you go to New Orleans. You're going to do a piece with a guy named Trombone Shorty." I said, "Well, yeah, we know Trombone Shorty. He's big." They said, "Well, he's got a thing at Tulane. These kids are latchkey kids. They get out of school. So instead of going home, they go to Tulane, and him and his buddies have created a music camp." So we got to spend the whole day with that, and it was just,
that's good. Yeah.
It's the same.
Pay it forward.
Yeah,
Man,
I mean, how can somebody go, "Oh, I don't like this," be negative about it? I don't care what your political party is or anything.
No, exactly.
We're helping kids, and we've done a lot of outreach with the film business for the DARE groups and different groups like that with kids in the summer going to these camps. And it's kind of funny. Dave does all the technical stuff with lighting and editing and all this, and that's great. And then even the kids in the back that were sentenced to the camp by the juvie judge, they raise their heads up when I pull out $100 bill and go, kids, what color is that? And they all go, green. And I go, yeah. And guess what? It doesn't care what color you are. And if you're going to wait around for the government to take care of you, you may be waiting a long time.
Exactly, yeah.
I go, guess what school me and Dave went to? And they go, we don't know. We're at it right now. So we didn't go to, we learned everything we learned on the streets.
Yeah,
we're not saying don't go to college, but you're going to learn how to make film when you start making film, type of thing. So it's pretty funny when we do those. And by the time I get back to my office, I got 10 new Facebook friends on there.
Sure.
But those are those kids. They just, they don't have $6,500 for HD camera or even a standard. They don't have the wherewithal to get there. And what the schools are offering it's very elementary. So we bring them on as interns and things like that too. Yeah. So this is kind of the same thing, but with music. It's all kind of interconnected.
Yeah, I won't limit it by age either. If you have guy's house gets burned down, I mean, like the people in North Carolina, they love floods, So primarily shooting for children 18 under, but I'm not sticking. Just
I think now we did the first year or two there. We did that one festival. It was like the '97, and we did the whole. It was a Friday night and a Saturday at Set Festival. In fact, I found John Mooney and brought him in for that. But we did that festival for the blues. But we did the next year. No, this would be after we did the one at Bartram Park. The next year, this would be 2000. We moved out the fairgrounds, and on Saturday morning, we did a blues in the schools. So we contacted. I call them junior high. I know they're middle schools now, but 7th, 8th, 9th grade. I think the elementary is a little young to make those decisions somewhat, unless they're a phenom. But once you get it, I mean, that's what I did. Junior high, 7th grade, I went in, wanted to play the sax. They had no sax left, but they had the string bass, and that's how. And I'm classically trained. I couldn't read a note if you paid me.
Are the schools? Let me ask you: are the schools big in music now? Like they used to be the band. I know
they got rid of all the strings. I heard later. Mike, you missed it when you were in California. The warehouse said they must have had 200K basses in there. Some of them almost brand new. Wow. So people were buying a lot of stuff you see.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. That's ridiculous.
They had the brass, but I think they got to go to the music Snowden or a music store to grab that. So. This is a good thing. And I'll tell you what, and I know many people make jokes about surfers. And I lived the life of a surfer. All I ever really wanted to do was go surfing during the day and travel and play blues at night and classic rock. That's all I wanted to do. I got into all this other stuff because I found out I couldn't really get paid that well just being a surfer. But, it was... I know it.
How'd you play the bass while you were surfing?
Waterproof bass. Actually, I've seen a surfboard somebody made into a bass guitar. It was pretty wild. There's everything out there. But I'm going to the discipline thing. I was too busy to get in trouble. Even with surfing. I mean, we pull pranks and stuff like that, but that's pretty innocent stuff. But you're busy. I mean, you got to practice that.
Again, to me, it's like music are what feelings sound like. Yeah. And kids are going through so much turmoil in their growing spurts and everything. And to take that energy or whatever and to focus it on their instrument, that's kind of like what I did with the harmonica. The bad times you're going through. Yeah. Where are you going to put it? I'm not going to lash out. I'm not going to rob a store. I'm not going to do something the other. So I took my harmonica and I just try to make that come out through there.
Yeah, you don't have time to hang on the street corner.
Yeah, exactly. I did a little bit of that. Try not to smoke crack, but I hung on the
that's just what the Bible say about idle hands,
But it's just so good to do that, and for kids to take that energy or that hurt or the joy and the love and everything else, and to put it into that instrument, guitar, sax, harmonica would be my choice, but drums or anything.
Vocals too, of course.
Yeah, vocals. Yeah, and like I said, I was, I was singing once on a job, and a guy said, I wish I could sing. He said, no, I wish you could. And I was like, okay. So I'm not going to be a singer. I'll just stick to the harmonica.
You're going to keep your day job, right?
Yeah, but I think.
It gives them. It gives people that don't know what they're going to do. Sometimes, if they have just some ability, you don't just go like this and snap your finger and you can play. You got to put the time in. You got to put the effort in.
Yeah, you got to love it. It's not something you do. It's something you are. And like I said earlier, it's just a great way to express yourself.
Well, some of those summer camps we went to. I mean, the back 2 rows, those are kids that don't want to be there. because they got in trouble and they got sentenced to this camp, which they're like, oh, these kids are all lame or whatever. But when I start to explain, you can make money at this, okay? And you don't wait around to get discovered. And that's a lot of what's happened today is people, you got to make your own way.
Well, to me on that, making the money is like a second focus. Focus should be just wanting to play it. And then the money and all that comes
well, you make a business.
It's, I mean, everybody can do what they want. But for me, just playing and creating and the endorphins you get from when you're in the pocket, like you said earlier, it's just so good. I mean, you know what I'm talking about, Rocky.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you could be out of key or just not hitting the right timing for 2 hours, but you get the 15 minutes of, man, we were there. It's like what you do when you're hitting what do you call it, the tube or you get the perfect wave.
Right.
I mean, it's the same kind of theory.
We're in the green room.
Yes, I mean, so you go through this and wave after wave till you finally get in it, and that's the endorphins you get. Or for me personally, how I get, I'm like, man, I was there for 5 minutes, man, let's do this again.
Oh yeah,
and that's the key of it for me.
Well, look, we're getting the timeline here a little bit. What we're going to wrap it up. What do you want to say, Rocky, about what's coming up and
just go to my Facebook. I don't have a website yet. But I've got Facebook.
You got the Facebook. It's gone live.
Yeah, Keeping Music Alive. Go there and follow me and just stay in.
We'll put the link on our page as well. Okay.
And as we get set up in the nonprofit, what we need to, we get ready. So
I mean, this is great. I mean, I hate to use that word synergy, but we are creating synergy. We all kind of have a little motivation. I don't want to say selfish motivation, but what we want to do, and it's like all these parts. I don't really believe too much in coincidences. I think things happen for a reason. So us all, and then you doing this, and me meeting Randy, and him what's going. That's a cool idea. Let's do it. Okay, let's do it. We don't have forever anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And
who's talking to, man? Come on.
I'm
reverse aging. I don't know about y'all.
Yeah, when you're young at heart.
Right, and I just want to end with a lot of things about the kids. In closing, in what Rocky's doing, there's a saying that's gone around for decades. It's called "Thanks for keeping the blues alive," and we say that to somebody putting on shows or whatever. Sometimes these people are not.
I'm gonna get a hat.
They're in the business. Yeah, they're just
great again.
They're just doing this because it's something they're going to do, and it's a business or whatever. But we have a big motivation for younger people, and there's a reason that the blues is always there. People, well, it's not popular. I ended up on black radio, urban radio in Central South Florida, which is for older black folks that listen to soul and R&B and all that, which all comes from blues. Oh, yeah. Because the rock stations wouldn't have me. Yeah. Oh, nobody's listening to that. Yeah, well, after I started taking all their listeners when my show was on, that became a different story. But it was too late for them at that point. But and so young people and there's certain music I just rubs me the wrong way, but most good music I like.
It's a twofold thing for the young people, that rock is in this benefit and stuff, but it's for the older people too who want to go out and find good musicians. You don't have to pay like $100 to go get a ticket. And it's more of an intimate environment. Goat Lips is a great place, man. They got great food and good musicians. There. And so this is plus it highlights it. It shines a little light on the local musicians that are talented, man. So there's a lot of great talent out here that people aren't aware of, and that way it's a shortcut to finding this talent.
Well, and then you add in there with young people, if they're not interested, then it dies. Right along with us.
Well, if you'll see, if you look at last Wednesday's Goat Lips, we got. I mean, the most enjoyable. People you see are 2-year-old kids.
Yeah.
I mean, they feel it, man. I had one laying on the monitor. That's amazing. 2-year-old kid.
Another thing, too.
Little kids like that are dancing, you're doing good.
Another thing for me is like seeing a 20-year-old playing some Allman Brothers or playing some, some old
I ended up with 3 kids.
That's just absolutely amazing because it's keeping it alive, our songs.
We're keeping it alive. Well, guys, I want to thank you for coming today. This has been fantastic. Some great stories. We got a great project coming up. We've got a great nonprofit for kids. You got to love the kids.
Oh, yeah.
And that's coming up soon. So just keep watching us on Facebook. I'll be putting some stuff on YouTube. I'll put the link for the new Facebook page on all. I got 10 different pages that we post on. So again, we got Randy Harpman Howell. Thank you. And we got the great Rocky Denny here.
Thank you.
These guys are real deal bluesmen, and they're keeping the music alive. Thanks for being with me.
Thank you.
Mike.
Appreciate
Thanks,
both of
Rocky.
you.
You too.
You're welcome.
All right, man.
And folks, remember, some people are very famous. Some are kind of famous, but most of us aren't famous at all. But I'll tell you, talk to them. They've all got at least one great story. This is their stories, and we're going to see you next time. Thanks for checking us out today. Look for more shows coming up, and I believe this is episode number 12. Thank you, Mark, our great producer.